Welcome to the final part of our black and white video lesson, and here we're going to have a look at Photoshop CS5's amazing black and white command. Now let's just desaturate this shot the old-fashioned way first of all by going to Image, Adjustments, Desaturate, and you can see that we've got a black and white shot, but it's a bit of a bland wash of grayscales. Let's see what we could end up with. You can see we've got a darker sky here now, and the bride is standing out much more effectively because we've been able to use the black and white command to target and darken the blue sky. Whereas here's our desaturated version, it's just a bland wash of grayscales. So I'm just going to undo that by going to step backwards, and I'll show you how the black and white command works. Let's get the layers palette up first of all by going to Window, Layers, and then we can grab the black and white adjustment layer from down here by clicking on black and white. Now what's really brilliant about this command is that it mimics the traditional photographic technique of popping coloured filters over your camera lens when shooting with black and white film. And different coloured filters will lighten or darken different areas in the shot depending on their original colour. For example, if you want light blue skies, you can pop a blue filter on. That adjusts the sliders. You can see it's pushing the blues up really high and it's lightening the blue in the photograph. Or you might want to get an infrared effect with really light vegetation by choosing the infrared slider, and that pops up the greens so that we have lighter looking grass, and it slides the blue slider to the left so we have a darker dramatic sky. But let's suit the particular needs of our portrait by going back to default and adjusting the sliders manually. In some ways this is similar to the convert to black and white command in Photoshop Elements that we looked at in part 1, but that just allowed you to change the red, green and blue mix in the black and white version and was much more unwieldy and harder to actually target particular colours. Whereas here we can look at the blue sky and we can say if we take that down to about -40, that will darken the blues in a very particular way. You'll also find there's a hint of cyan in the sky, so if we take that down as well by dragging the slider to the left to around about 49, that just helps darken the sky even more. Now with Elements it was really difficult to get this effect without actually clipping our pixels, blowing out the highlights, darkening the shadows too much, but you can do things much more easily with these individual sliders. Let's just lighten up the skin as well by dragging this slider to the right. If we take that up to around about 50 or so. Now you may not be sure of which colours you actually want to adjust, so you could use this tool to lighten or darken them just by interactively clicking on the tool to select it and then clicking and dragging to the right to lighten the sampled area. So you can see as we drag to the right it's lightening up the grass and it's changing the yellows. So we take that up to around about 120, that brightens up the yellows in the grass quite nicely. We can then manually adjust the greens in the grass as well by dragging the slider to the right to around about 90 just to help continue lightening the grass. So out of all the commands we've looked at, this is definitely the most effective because you can tweak and target individual colours by just clicking and dragging to the right to lighten them or to the left to darken them using this tool here, or fine-tuning the sliders manually like so until you've got your subject standing out nicely against a contrasting background.